many different aspects and information about India-Poland cooperation. As you can see my title, I'm going to share with you with totally different prospects and the opportunities, with addition the information what we have received. Business growth at right place with right timing and efficient execution. For development of any business, this is very important to take decision, and once you take decision, you execute that decision as your goal to be achieved. And that is the place you are going to show here in the world map, somewhere very far from Poland, few thousand kilometers from here, you can see here lighting India. So India is a country which is more appreciated since centuries for different historical reasons, for different development, for different cultural and the business activities as well. So coming to the business growth and the model, why India is so big sound today, and we're supposed to think about to develop business with India. India is, as you know, aesthetically, or the current countings, if you count, Indian population is more than 1.35 billion people. And that population is combined with 36 states. So you can see the two models of state territorial activities at the political system we are watching, unitary and the federal. So India as a continent, if you're watching, it's a quasi-federal system. At the same time, you're finding unitary and the federal activities at the similar way. So we are the union of 29 states and 7 union territories, which combines us 36 states. So you can imagine each state's government, they have their own policies to enhance investors and give you support to develop your business activities in India. Apart from the central government policies. So the central government policies are enhancing investors to come to India. But apart from that, state governments also help you out and give you more further support to to take further steps to come to India and to start your activities to get success in Indian continent. Not only, we are expecting the Indian growth, GDP growth rate is going to be 8.2% in the next quarter. So that is the second part what we are watching. Even the hardest decision taken by the Prime Minister of India last 2 years ago, demonetization. So that affects us GDP growth rate, but again we are rising up, and that you can see here the rise, we are again fastest growing economy in the world. Not only, if you are developing your business with other countries or the continents, you need to know their languages, cultural behavior, how they behave. But with India, what is the specific? If you know how to speak English and communicate in English language, it's enough for you to go to India and to communicate with the people. Even me, for myself, if I'm from Central Eastern India and I speak few languages, but if I travel to South India, I'm like you. So I cannot communicate with them. Even they are Indians, I'm Indian, but I cannot communicate with them. Why? They have their own language. In South India, you go Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, numbers of languages they use. Even I cannot read it. So I'm just like you as foreigner in India. So we use English as linked language. If you want to communicate with one another, English is only playing a role to be linked language. That is very important here. What is more again, Mr. Surendra, he just mentioned, that the education is the sector which is very potential for India, Poland to be taken as very high scale to develop the cooperation in that sector. You can see here, India has the largest higher education system in terms of the numbers of institutes, as well as the second largest in terms of the numbers of students enrolled in the universities and the school territorial education system. Not only that, India has the fastest growing middle class in the world, about 35 million households, with the earnings increased up to $25,000 per annum. That enhance the development and the expenditure. Once you start earning, you love to expand, right? So that things you can see in the market, and market shows why you're supposed to think about India. Not only, India has over 550 million people below the age of 25 years. And that gives you the picture of another part, 32% of 1.35 billion people, though they are under age 0 to 14. It means India needs, in the next 8 to 10 years, hundreds of universities to accommodate them, to provide them the education and the education system. That we are lagging behind. We'll come back to the topic. You see, just I mentioned you, why India? India is not only, because you know what I have seen in Poland. Most of the media and other activities, if you read the articles which has been published by the Polish media, you will see India as a place of cultural, exotic country. Go to Ganges, go to Allahabad, Varanasi, Taj Mahal. Apart from that, they never talk about the development of business. So if you think, why business? As I mentioned, if you have capacity to expand, simply there is a business. So there are consumers, the second largest population in the world, they are living in India. They are in the capacity to expand. That's why you figure here that you see in 2022 we are estimating that the public sector's education investment, the private sector investment, as well as the increasement of their income. That simply shows that the government is also taking initiative by understanding such requirements and demands, and they are putting huge money for the public sector to invest and increase their activities. What next? You see, as we discussed before, we have lawmakers, we have also executors, we have ambassadors, we have institutions, we have companies. You make laws, you make policies, you execute it. So there are certain laws and the policies which has been executed for the growth of India. So if India is developing, it's not just once it happens. You can see the figures how it's growing demand. So if rise in disposable income, easy access to credit and electronic, the electrification like to accelerate the demand in the sectors. Imagine middle class which is growing. Lower than the middle class, their incomes are growing. So they need to have more devices of electronics. They need to have refrigerator, they need to have ACs if you have temperature 40 degrees. So such things are demanded. If they are demanded, we as a producer from Poland, we are enough to give them. This is a business. Opportunities you can see here, then you have policy support. What happened? Government of India has taken initiative by opening market. So there are many sectors where foreign investors can invest 100%. So you don't need to have a partner in India. Simply you are a company from Poland or abroad, you get in. And you are getting in by finding your own place, own space, own policies, and executing the Indian market. Like in Poland, you can develop your business. Even much easier in India than in Poland. Why? The initiatives you can expect from the government. And government has launched different plans as our ministry representative, Mr. Ukas, has presented you. We have Make in India. We have Digital India, Clean India. These are the programs which have been initiated by government, many more, to enhance for investors to come to India and to join us. What more we can see? There are some indicators that indicates why business is going to grow. And each indicator shows that India is with less risk and more business. So less risk and more profit. If you get in the term of business, that is going to be happen. And these are the variables, just check it. FDI policies, trade openness. We are 100% open trade in many sectors. Some sectors we have 50%, some sectors we are 40%, even less than that. But many of them, they are 100% open for FDI policies. We have also cost efficiencies, labor cost. So even exchange rates are there that enhance you. Availability of resources, as our embassy representative, Mr. Surendra mentioned, we are the second largest populated country in the world. And we are not only that, the best service providers in the world. So we have the human resources, and that human resources is skilled at the lowest cost. So the cost efficiency give you to utilize that human resources to develop your business in that segment. That is the part here. Institutional variables, corruption has been reduced dramatically. The section and the position of India has increased up to, I don't remember, but from last year to up to this year, the data, if you check the World Bank report, is increased about 35 or 36 positions, something like that.
Now we are 77.
77 now.
From something like 140.
140. So imagine, just in current few years, the corruption data shows to be decreased so highly. It means the initiatives which has been taken, political risk and the political institutions that are efficiently working. Government, they're very strong and they're taking policies to be executed efficiently to enhance year to think to come. What more? There are many agencies. For example, us, foundation, is not addressed by the government of India that you have to promote us. We feel to promote us. Every Indian is an ambassador of India. So if you think you are the people from Poland, you are the ambassador of Poland. So once you travel to India, you find your valuables out of it. You think to do your business. So there are segments, what I say here, distance factors are also affecting, but that not, it used to be effective in a valuable sectors, but now that is less damaging our relation, bilateral trade, than the other activities that we are watching here. So what more I like to enhance you. If there are factors, there are sectors where we can enhance our business. People, initiatives are there, government policies are there. We are, as Indo-European Education Foundation, I'd like to give you short information about being from India, living in Poland since almost 10 years. I used to practice law in Mumbai High Court. I have finished my law graduation from Pune, and then I have done my PhD from Poland. So, being in Poland, I realized from the mind of a lawyer, a corporate lawyer, being an economist as well, because mathematical background shows me, that there is a gap. And that gap can be fulfilled with perform, reform, and transform. These are the policies, even in Indian government, or Indian policies in government, they believe in the similar platform. You believe reform. What does reform means? We believe if something is going on the track, and still there is a gap, it means you need to reform it. You need to analyze that there is something wrong, and you need to change it. If you change it, that is reform. And if you change it and execute it, you are transformed. If you're transformed, this is the result of your business. So you need to be specific. You need to be specific with the areas, with the vision for the market and for the implementation. What we have done is, you can see, I can also add here numbers. What I will love to share with you. 4 years ago, in India, from India, in Poland, not 7 years, even not 10 years, 4 years ago, 2014. I used to be the part of one of the speech Congress. It was organized by Foreign Ministry of Poland in Sejm, Polish Parliament. And I'm happy to share here, Mr. Krzysztof is here from that day also we share the same dais. And I quoted on that day from the Ministry of Higher Education Government of Poland. The data shows, even you can check today, 2014, total Indian students studying in Poland were 229. 4 years ago, 229, exact number I'm saying. 2 students dropped down. So it was 227. Rest of them, few of them, they gone somewhere, we don't know. So it was 208 or 209, they stay with the universities. 2014, I'm talking about the data. We enhanced many projects. We traveled India with many universities since 10 years. We are promoting Poland in India for the education sector since 10 years without any support, because we realized that this is to be reformed. And once we reformed, many agencies, many institutions came up. And the result you can see today, 5,500 plus students are staying in Poland from India. 4 years time. So from 4 years, if you can watch, there is a demand, there is a supply. If supply can be fulfilled, demands are always there. As you know, in Poland, Polish universities are collapsing. They have trouble. They're in huge pressure for demography impact. And they need to have such kind of suggestion, they need to have such kind of help. We have launched many projects. CET India test, one of that we are screening students with the test. If they're interested to come to Poland, they must give this examination. If they pass, they score, then only we process their application to the universities. That gives you that this student is really efficient to go for higher education abroad. So such kind of projects we have launched. You can see here many different activities we are taking. But what is more important? We are working with one principle, and that is it. Academia, industry, interlinked model of business cooperation. What is academia, industry, model of business cooperation? As you know, these all three is connected with one another. My student is here as well, and I was happy by knowing a few years ago, I used to teach at Vistula University. It is one of the private schools in Warsaw. And I teach my student not many years, but few years, and she was graduated during my time. And once I went to embassy, in my embassy, Indian embassy in Warsaw, and I have seen her working there, Anna. Yeah, and she is my student when I taught her 2 years to receive master's there. So if such kind of activities you are receiving and you are joining, what's the opportunities? Government of India is seeking experts. Government of Poland is seeking experts who can give knowledge, who can share the knowledge, who can share the information and develop your own activities. We create entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs could not be created without the support of scholars. And scholars needs to share their experiences to grow the business. This is the model what we develop, academia, industry linked model of business cooperation. You know, also primary function of academia is what we need to, or you used to learn, education, learning, research, and knowledge generation. While that our business is to produce products and services for societal needs with an economic returns. So if education we take as an investment, that investment is supposed to also bring you some profit in the long term running your life business. And that model is supposed to be executed on the basis of academia industry interlinked. What more? Education, we are also talking now because India has a huge population, and that population is supposed to be skilled to contribute for the development of themselves as well as for the development of Indian economy. So if you as an individual increase your capabilities and the capacities to be productive, you're not going to be only productive for yourself, you're also going to be productive for the nation. And that we believe here, for well-being and well-doing. This is better education for better life, as we believe all Middle Asian countries or developing countries. You know, we are grown up by listening these things. If we have 1.35 billion people, imagine the competition. So if you want to get the best schools, you need to be best in your class. If you need to get the best colleges, you need to be best for writing exams. If you need to get for IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, or IIM, you need to be best. If not, you're not going to be selected. So the competitive mind comes from the childhood. You need to be best, otherwise no one is going to ask you. So being best only make you to fulfill your dream come true. If you want to achieve your dream, you need to work hard. Not after education, from your childhood by getting education. And that education must be based on your requirements. requirements from an individual, requirements from an industry, requirements from the society. If we combine them together, that is, we are going to generate a citizen of the world, a global citizen which will be useful not only for himself, but also for the other world nation. Why it has been seen as foundation or something, there is a problem with Poland. What is the problem? I have realized very specifically that most of the universities in Poland, they are running Oriental study program about India. They're more focused on history, culture, and the students exchanges, faculty exchanges, rather than to share the information how to enhance the business, how to involve the students to develop their business activities. This was the problem, what I have seen here. And I think that the financial institutions, academic organizations, lawmakers, and the government policies makers should come together to think about the potential market and to work to how to develop and how to enhance that cooperation. I just give you a brief here for the education section again. You can see in Poland, Polish higher education market, you can see 38.14 million. Total number of universities in Poland, you have 501. Private universities are 326, but this is the number which is decreasing. I'm not stressing you the number of private universities because they are in the huge trouble, and every day they are sending application to the government of Poland Higher Education Ministry for the liquidation process. Because they have no students, they have no finance, they have no management, and they are in terrible shapes. So the number of students you can see here, the medical universities in Poland, many universities, though they're running medical certificates, they are also affiliated and accepted by All India Medical Council, which means Indian doctors could be produced by Polish universities, and they can get back to India, they can practice their medicine in Indian hospitals. So just compare the data what I show you here. Imagine the universities in India. We have 799 universities as central universities. Among the public university, we have one partner with our University Applied Sciences called Pune University. They have capacity to admit every academic year 600 to 700,000 students every year. That is the capacity of a university to accommodate the students. And such things are that you can see colleges and the diploma degrees, PG, DBM certificates what they are issuing, apart from the degrees which have been recognized by the government. You have many institutes, many open universities. Now what is more interesting, Indian universities are also going further for the online education system because it's very hard to accommodate everyone at that place which has been located in Indian education system till today. So factors influencing education market, I just mentioned you earlier, economic growth. So the growth, when you have finance, we are very used to pay for our education. Because in India, we have no free education system. Government of India, yes. Public schools, they give you free education. But we feel that, no, I don't want to go to government schools because the teachers are not very good, education is not up to date, just up to high school system. So we want to send our kids to the private schools, which has been paid. Even universities level, you have to pay for it. So economic growth, you have seen that is growing, and now middle class people, they're in the position to expend for their kids up to $15,000 per year for the higher education system. That is the one part. Demography is the second part. And you can see here, the third one is politics. Willingness is something. If you are willing to execute some plans, and the government has a power to execute, and they are planning to execute, it will be executed. And the best example you can see in India today, the current government, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, he has a vision to develop the country with a new initiative and new policies, which has been executed, and we have seen the impact. Whatever data I'm showing you, this is just recent data from 2017 to 2018. Supply-demand gap is there, in education section and also the skill level. So business could not work without this equilibrium in supply and demand. In Poland, if there is a demand of students, India can supply it. Not few thousands, but at least thousands. And that can be secured one in other places. So India needs drastically increased numbers of places at the universities. I will share you. Please take Warsaw Voice if something is there. You will find it. But the data I'm presenting there. For 40 million young youth, they will be seeking higher education in the next 5 years. And India has no capacity to accommodate them. So most of these students, they will go abroad if Poland is ready to get a few thousand students from them. So if you are ready, your policies are done, then the work comes to the policy makers. If they make the policies, your university should not collapse. It should run the fantastic business. And that model we are talking here now. There are some factors and there are something which is enhancing the law and other parts. So what makes India attractive and for among the foreign investors? You can see the large young population, cheap labor, availability of raw materials. Then you have largest English speakers, a stable and active government, friendly economic reforms, rule of law, federal structure, special economic zones. Much more you have that I could not present you on the slides in few minutes. Barriers, you can only see the cultural barriers. What is that? I will share with you a few of them with the recommendations. Then you have also inefficient, arbitrary and inadequate procedure. It used to be the civil services which have been followed, but now it's reduced. And that is more helpful. They're very efficient. Also, what more, still today, direct contacts are working with India rather than to going with the channels. What about Poland? You have also location, which is very fantastic. Cheap skilled labor you have here as well. You are the member of European Union. Raw materials are there, as our Mr. Surendra mentioned, that Poland could be one of the best place for coal mining cooperation sector. So there are many things to be discussed, especially economic zones are there, open market policies are there. So we can think about it, what are the barriers for Poland is about first and the strongest. I don't know, it will be lovely to hear my other colleagues, because they are here, they are running the biggest businesses in Poland, and how they are facing these cultural values and the language, dual legal system, lack of institutional support, many places it is, bureaucracy is a huge. So how you think, how you face such activities, it will be lovely to hear them after the break. These are the motivations which impact people to be internationalized with Poland and India. If you have political motivation, you are making laws, you are changing laws, you are executing laws. If you have economic motivation, you are presenting your country in the best way to the world community, that please come and invest in your country. Until you don't talk, until you don't present yourself, no one knows about you, how to develop business with you. So this is very much important. What is more, academic cooperation could never work until you share your information. So academic cooperation is very much important as well. And what is another part is the cultural and the social motivation. This is what I'm presenting you for. All four you can find in Poland, in India. So these all factors are existing, which enhance our model to develop this business between India and Poland. Before ending my presentation to you, I present you one another part. We have also ABS Institute, a foundation, what we call Advanced Business Solutions Institute. And you'll be happy to know about it. Recently, we have signed an agreement with Warsaw Stock Exchange. What for? Warsaw Stock Exchange is working in central eastern part of Europe. And they're very, very strong. They're under the developed market economy. But internally, they have different projects. And we are working for them. We are giving them Warsaw Stock Exchange Growth Project. What is that? How to enhance your business in Poland itself by increasing interest among family businesses. Family businesses in Poland is a very strong community, and they are leading huge businesses in Poland. So how to enhance them to join Warsaw Stock Exchange? Not only, how to enhance Central Eastern European countries and the stock exchanges to join Warsaw. So make Warsaw as a leader to lead kind of elite program, which will enhance business activities in Poland as well as abroad. We're also planning to connect Mumbai Stock Exchange with Warsaw Stock Exchange. So under that, we're also conducting some research activities, and that research is going to play 3 areas in the country and out of the country. So we're asking companies, though they are listed with Warsaw Stock Exchange, we're also asking companies, though they were listed with Warsaw Stock Exchange, but not anymore. And we are thinking who are the potentials they're planning to join them, and what are the factors which is enhancing as a barriers, which is enhancing to not grow their businesses with them, and how to change that models to let them to grow their businesses with them. That is the project what we are developing here now. So these are a few recommendations. If you are a Polish investor, Polish companies, or Polish entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, policymakers, few recommendations I give you here. Identify the level coordinator or initiator. Identify your local partner who can initiate you, to whom you can rely to develop your business. Find consultant in your country. Rather than to going to India and finding your consultant there, find your consultant here, being in Poland. Cross-culture understanding. You need to understand sometimes what happens. You can send an email and you're expecting reply. 1 week, no reply. 1 month, no reply. And then you will be, hey, what's going on with them? You know. But then my recommendation is, if you send an email, you don't receive reply in 2 days, take your phone calls, just try to make a call, and you will get response immediately. So that direct contact, it means direct contact also. So this is also their what you call direct numbers, not through electronic medium in case of any delay. Expand knowledge about market and partner. Visit often India. You know, if I'm an Indian, I'm born in India, expended almost 28, 29 years in India. Every year I'm traveling India 4 to 5 times. I cannot tell you I'm expert on India. I cannot tell you that I know everything about India. It's a country of unity in diversity. Each states are different. We use 627 dialects. We have 27 official languages what we are using. So it's very difficult to tell anybody that we are expert on India. You know. So I suggest you travel India. As much more you can explore, as much more you can communicate, as much more you can invent about the partners and think about your business. Decide your structure of entry to India. So it's not like that, oh, come on, I want to do business with India. But how? You don't know. So I propose you to be very specific. Draft your activities, write it down, make your project, and then take initiative. How to go there. So identify a good market or sector of investment also, this is very important. Implement projects by your finding partners rather than government approaches. If you're waiting for government approaches and this is delayed, immediately you need to contact them. If something is delayed, but if not, it's a fantastic because the government things are changing and the country is waiting for you to come to India. Make your mind, plan your business. My country, India is waiting for you. Thank you so much. Please come.